A lot of focus will now turn to some of the major chip companies to see if the level of AI demand is matching the huge investments both AMD and Qualcomm are reporting this week. Well, for more of this, I'm joined by Austin Lyons, Senior Analyst at Creative Strategies. Austin, strong earnings and record spending on AI infrastructure. What should we know?
Yeah, earnings were great, and you might think at first blush that everyone would be excited. But like you said, investors are starting to have their patience tested. They're starting to get a little concerned because this year's spending so far for some of these hyperscalers, like you mentioned, Google, it's on the order of $100 billion on AI infrastructure and CapEx spend. And every company that reported is not only accelerating their spending, but they said next year they plan to continue to grow that. And so really the question is, as we roll into 2026, is just where's the ROI? Will there be enough ROI? As we are seeing some monetization of AI, but will it be enough to continue increasing spend, or at some point is it going to slow down?
Yeah, so is that what we're seeing then? I mean, you mentioned CapEx continuing to grow into next year. Is that what we're seeing with investors being a bit wary or fatigued perhaps from this continual outlay of funds?
Yeah, exactly. And now investors are a little less concerned with someone like Google or Amazon who can turn around and rent these chips back out. And so, for example, Amazon, they said they have these Trainium chips. So of course they buy NVIDIA chips, which they rent out, but they also have chips that they designed themselves that they said as quickly as they can bring them in-house and power them online, there's someone ready to rent it on the other end. And so any of these cloud providers, investors have a little bit more grace because they can see the ROI. It's just a shorter line to ROI. But with someone like Meta, whose stock dropped this week after earnings, investors are more wary because Meta's investing in all this infrastructure, but then they need to train the models and figure out how to turn that AI intelligence into revenue for Meta, which means better advertising. Now, Mark Zuckerberg feels confident in it, and he kind of outlined how he sees paths to having better ads and having more ads and even more places for ads, whether that's with augmented reality or with like the new Vibes app that they created. But investors are a little bit more aware because that's a longer term payoff.
And Austin, just quickly, what are you expecting from Qualcomm and AMD then? We'll see numbers from them this week.
Qualcomm and AMD, I think right for now, anyone who is in the AI game, AMD especially and NVIDIA, it's still looking good because infrastructure spending is going up. Qualcomm is primarily all about smartphones, all about automotives, and those should be strong for them. And of course, they're trying to get into augmented reality, and they just announced that they're trying to get into data center. So we will see Qualcomm's a little bit not heavy, like right in the AI play. But I think for AMD, they should be looking fine, and we'll see what we learn from Qualcomm.
Austin, thanks very much for that. Austin Lyons, Senior Analyst at Creative Strategies.